Let's start with clinical decision making. How do we all feel about AI being part of that?
I could tell you where I'm at, and then it terrifies me. We had Dr. Cox on here talking about AI, and I believe one of the things that he said, I'm probably butchering this, but that there was a study done between AI and BCBAs, and they would give the treatment plans to people and say which one was done by AI and which one was done by BCBA. So you had to try and figure it out, and they couldn't tell the difference, right? And so that to me is scary. And I just this is supposed to be, and again, maybe I'm just old and, this is my get off my porch, phase of life. And, I just crabby and and this is just a new Google, right? But, my concern is when you have a field where BCBAs on average have 3 years of experience and they're all burnt out, like the vast majority of BCBAs that we talk to in this space are overworked,
high caseloads, and limited amount of time to get their things done.
And the feedback that when we've talked to people in this space with AI, they're like, well, hopefully, they can use this as with oversight. And I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're right. What they're going to do is that the company is now going to say, hey, you used to be able to produce 15 treatment plans in 6 months, and now you can do 30, right? Great job. And so I'm concerned that it's really going to remove the humanity from the field.
You're right to have concerns. When we consider AI, we have to understand, especially in terms of clinical decision making, I'm drawing a circle for those who can't see me. Imagine in that circle are all the different types of ways that AI can be used. You've hit on one possibility, and people can look at that and say okay, this is a bad outcome. But AI is being used more and more, and good AI tends to be AI where AI is being clerical and it's taking things off your plate that you're not going to get upset about that. For example, in healthcare, doctors will routinely see patients. You could have a human scribe doing it, or you just have your phone, it records it, you ask permission, say, hey, can AI do it? AI scribes that all up together. And now you have this information that can be part of clinical decision making. No one's going to object to that. I mean, that's like objecting to just your phone doing it. All the AI is doing it is now taking that transcript and doing other things. But again, how far do you push this? If AI is doing certain clerical tasks, that might not be objectionable. But if all of a sudden you go to your doctor and you're like, oh, wait, let me check with AI. Hey, my patient said this. What should we do? And the doctor puts all the things in and then says, oh, you know what? My AI bot says you should be on penicillin based on these things. That's scary.
Yeah.
So there are certain lines that we can cross that in terms of ethical issues that would be very uncomfortable, but there are other things that we're not. So that question you asked is very complicated because it gets at how would we use AI to collect data? I love this whole area of decision making because I'm of the belief that if you want to have a good outcome, the one thing you can control is the quality of your decisions. The decisions that we make can help produce good outcomes. Doesn't mean even if you make good decisions, you're always going to get a good outcome, but it's with probability. So the better information you have, the more things that you can look at, the greater likelihood you're going to make a good decision that could lead to a good outcome. So if we look at data, what if we are collecting data and we have an AI system that looks at your graph and says, hey, your data are like, here's the variability, here's the trend, here's the level. I'm going to tell you all this right now. From my research, very few people pay attention to all of these hallmarks that we should be. Even you go to Java or one of these other things and look at what they're saying, even they're not doing it.
Right.
Maybe they talk about level, but they're not talking about trend and variability. And again, don't take my word for it. Crack the journal open and look and see what they're saying. So in this instance, if you had AI that was giving you this information, you now have a better chance to make a good decision. So, really good question to lead us with, but I want everyone to think very carefully about how is AI impacting it? What's it doing? And then I feel you could make a better decision on how AI can either hurt or harm us.
Yeah, I mean, there was another paper that I just glanced at, right? Again, was that they found the more people used AI, the lower their IQ was. And so,
yes,
like that again is my biggest concern. Yeah. I had to remove all AI from my phone because I was just finding how easy it was to paste in a text or an email and say, well, how should I respond to that? And I wasn't even thinking about it. I would respond and then I'd get a reply and I wouldn't even remember my response, right? Like, did I write that? Did I say that? Right. And so I found it's almost like when you get in the car, right? And you get to your destination and you park the car and you're like, whoa, I'm here already. And that you have no idea of what took place after you left your house to get to your destination. It's like you're on autopilot completely. And so my biggest concern is that we're going to take these amazing tools, and use them for clinical decisions without having you're giving the entirety of the field to maybe somebody who hasn't earned the right to have it yet because they don't have the foresight.
Absolutely. Look, I share these concerns. I share these concerns not just with behavior analysis, but with society in general.
100%.
I'm in special ed. I'm a professor in special ed, and we want to teach students. I remember, not just personally, but also when the calculator came out, everyone's like, oh, you don't need to memorize these things. Just put it in the calculator. Yeah. That was a big debate. Now that we have AI, there are people saying, we don't need to teach kids to read anymore or write anymore. Just let AI do it. And what kind of effect do you think that's going to have on our society? So what you have a very focused, we're talking about AI and ABA, but there's these grand societal issues and it's all connected. And these are all things that we need to really pay attention to because we have these, like the tech companies right now, they don't care. They are barreling to anything that gives them profit. They literally don't care they just care about profit. And where's the guardrails on those companies? There are none.
There are none. Yeah.
There are all of these negative things that are happening. And so we, as a community of practitioners, of scholars, we should be having panels. Sure, papers are important, but we should have guidance from our organizations that say, look, here's where ABA in the practice is, here's the red lines, here's the things that it's okay with. And unless we do that, I fear there are going to be some very hard days ahead of us for our field.
I just did want to go back and touch on what Rick said about how using AI as a tool to help us to capture some of the data and look at the trends. And, there's a skill set behind that, right? Of knowing, sure. Right? Like, okay, sure. Well, not to get even bogged down into the data, right? Because I know that's something that just, practitioners, on the daily, right? We're looking at like, okay, what's important to look at, right? Yeah. So that we're not taking too much data just for data's sake.
Right.
Is it really
yeah.
telling, are we tracking the right things to tell us what we need to know and then adjusting that as we go?
No, I agree. And that's kind of, okay, let's just get an AI system, right? Because I've heard it's
great.
It
would be so easy just to like throw it in,
and
right?
like there is no, and that's my, and you could say this for pretty much every field at this point, right? There are companies laying off thousands of people for AI, and AI is going to do all of these jobs and reduce all of this admin and bureaucracy, right? And oh, isn't that wonderful? And it's just, what are we doing as a society? High level, introducing this, right? And I just feel, one, because I'm in it, right? I see I'm in ABA every day. I'm talking to BCBAs all the time, but I don't know of a more like direct human to human connected field other than ABA, right? Like there's so many hours, and we're working with the family, we're working with speech, we're working with the OT, we're working with the school system, right? And like to remove the humanity from this field, is that really what we want to do?
Okay, where can we use this and how can we use this? And being mindful to not use it in a way to pile more caseload on.
Where is that line, right? Where is that line of where it can do those things? Like shout out to Silna. They're using AI to help with authorizations and benefit checks. Like no one wants to do that, right? And the amount of hours wasted trying to do that. And so now you can focus more on, actual meaningful work. And I can totally see the benefit to that with, the billing systems and it makes perfect sense that you would do that kind of thing.